Jim. And then I'm going to have Brother JT come up. You can say that if you want. Yeah, it's up to you. So I'll come to you all then. We don't want Pastor Scott to yeah, his version of the story.
So, about 1985. Third Avenue, 700 block. First time I ever stayed a night anywhere. Camped out on his porch. It was NWA wrestling in the morning and WWF in the evening. And 1985, I was way younger than Pastor Scott. But I was so cool, they let me hang out with him. I remember we was all out on the porch, and Speedy, little fella used to walk down the street, he pumped his arm like that. Speedy, he'd come walking down the street, and Bruder hopped off the porch and followed Speedy down the street, pumping his arm like Speedy. And everybody on the porch was laughing, we was acting a fool, but that was a great time for me, just to be able to hang out with them guys. And like I said, first time I got to stay anywhere was at his house, and his mom gave me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
All right. So the story I have, I'm telling on myself, but it's worth it. It'll work out. I don't really know the timeline. I'm even way younger than Jim, so I'm way back. But I had messed up. I was engaged to Cassie, and I had done something that I had no business doing, and it upset her to the point where she, at the time, Pastor Freeman was my pastor. So this 12, 13 years ago, she said, you can call Pastor Freeman, come talk to us, or I'm gone. Well, I ain't calling Pastor Freeman. I'm like, no, that's like picking your switch out. I am not calling Pastor Freeman. So I'm screaming like, who am I going to call? Who's going to help? Then I said, what about Christian? Can I get Christian to come talk to me? And she agreed, now you leave. Like I said, he wasn't a preacher. I think, if my timeline's right, this would have been when God was dealing with you to become a people. Yeah. So I didn't know anything about that. So I called him. He's at the Emancipation. But he said, as soon as I'm done, I'll swing by on Pine Street. And he pulled in. You could feel the tension in the room. I could see on his face that he had no idea what I had done. And after I told him, you could see like a sigh of relief, and he's responsible. That's it. And Cassie gave me that sideways look, like, what do you mean? That's it. So, but anyway, he solved that situation with him getting married, of course. But that just shows what he does, and I mean, he was there like that, calmed her down, thankfully. When she said, you call Pastor Freeman, or this is it, that's what she went. So we're thankful for him. God bless.
What was it?
This next person has a dual role in Pastor Scott's life, so I'm looking forward to this story.
I'm Ryan Smith. I'm not going to say I was a lot younger because I look around the room, Courtney, Chad, Josh, Chris, and I all graduated together, so this story's 40-some plus years old. Only had a lot more hair and a lot less weight. Growing up, the 4th of July parade was always, something that happened in town. So they gave an award and a trophy for like the best decorated bike and you could ride in the parade. I was one to win that. And I remember decorating my bike with streamers and red, white, and blue And we would meet down here at the Spruce Street lot, which we play a lot of football in, and he acted like he was Earl Campbell trying to run over people. Then he tried to be Eric Dickerson and run by him. So I show up, and here comes Christian. He's in an outfit that I'm telling you, he was dressed to the nines. It was Evel Knievel looking. Red, white, and blue. I'm like any good Browns fan like I am, I'm like, oh, there's always next year. I'm not going to win this year. So I don't know if he won that year or not. He won in my mind. Second. I don't know who beat you on that one. On a serious note, you know, Christian's been there for me, and as I thought about this, through a lot of big moments in my life. He sang in my wedding. He came up and did the opening prayer when I was in the Ohio house on one of my toughest days in the Ohio house, and prayed with me before and after. He sang at my sister's funeral a couple months ago. So I just always appreciated him being there for me, and was always there to pick up the phone, as Cassie mentioned earlier. I'm sure all of us feel this way, but Pastor Scott, don't ever underestimate the impact you make in people's lives, whether that's in the classroom or in the church or just being a leader in our community. We appreciate it. We love you.
I can't wait for these last three guys.
I'm not even sure where to begin, which one to talk about. There's so many roads I could go down. But my name's Courtney Hutchinson. I also graduated with Christian, Chad, Josh, Ryan. We all grew up together. All right. First of all, Chris and I, we've all shared a lot of laughs together. Through all the Pink and Temple book stories, the Jerusalem chickens, and Sunday school with Sister Barbara. I mean, and it goes on and on. I don't know. I'm trying to think of one, but there's just too many. I don't want to take up a lot of time. So, yeah, we've had a lot of good laughs that'll always go on forever. You know, there's a reason. I think we all, you know, the three of us in particular, and I'm not purposely excluding anybody, but there was a point in time where we knew that I knew I could call either one of them any time of day, and the same in reverse. So that's something I've always appreciated. But I will say this, on a serious note, the thing that will always remain near and dear to me about Christian is all right, here we go, I'll attach this story to what I want to say. One Sunday I got invited to come play some backyard touch football in the back of Josh Williams' grandma's house. And I've played a lot of tackle football, and I'm not sure it measured up to what happened that day. But anyway, we got done. We were all heading out, and Christian was like, well, what are you doing? I was like, I guess I'm going home. And because at the time I was on Pine Street. And he goes, I'm going to go to church. You want to go to church with me? So I said, sure. So I go to BTU service over at Tridestone. They had just got a new pastor there, Pastor Freeman, who I was introduced to. Unfortunately, didn't have time to go and change, so we're still wearing the same clothes we just got done playing football in. But it was there during that meeting that Reverend Freeman took me down the Romans Road, and I accepted Christ that day. So out of all the laughs, you know, tears, whatever it may have been, that is the one thing that I'll always be very appreciative of with Christian. Because without that invitation, you know, I may not be here right now. You know, so once again, and I'm sure this sentiment's going to be repeated throughout. You know, we love you, always there for you, and you know, to many more anniversaries we try with Paint Creek.
All right, here we go. He's been smiling the whole time.
Hello, everybody. My name's Josh Williams, third in the building. I'm gonna go down a little bit different road. I have so many stories. We'd be here till tomorrow. But one thing I'll say about this man is, on a respect level, like, he is top shelf to me. And what I want to share to you about as I come back here to Paint Creek, I've been married here. We did vacation Bible school here. I see a lot of familiar faces that shaped us, molded us. I'm in a group text right now. It's been years with Pastor Griffin, Pastor Scott, Chad, Chris Howe, and Pete Anderson. We talk every day. But I want to share with you, like, through my lens, why he is the man he is today. Like, growing up, his father, Harry Scott, used to walk us to school. And one time we were walking to school, we were young, and we come past some red berries on a bush. And, you know, he's like, I dare you to eat one. You know, so don't let him fool you, you know. So, and me, like, I was going to eat it. I remember picking it, and the juice running in my fingers. And all of a sudden his dad's like, don't you eat that, you'll get sick. And then he looked at Christian and he's like, don't you dare people to do stuff that's going to hurt them or harm them. And I'm like looking at him laughing, and he looks at me and says, don't be stupid enough to do what people dare you to do. So, you know, right there in that aspect, and you know how parents shape our lives, really he's learning leadership skills. You know, he's learned how to take people, guide them in the right direction, and I don't think he's ever dared me to do anything bad after that again. You know? And then you take, one day we were getting our report cards, and if I'm wrong, you tell me, because, you know, we're getting old, you know, our relationship spans back to diapers, you know? And he got a bad mark on his report card. I don't know if he got a C or a D. I just remember Mrs. Scott was not happy. And she told him he was grounded. And I didn't even know what that word meant. But I knew it wasn't good because, like, he was distraught. He was like, no, mommy, don't ground me, don't ground me. So, I don't know how long he served or what, but the result of that is, next thing I know, he's in TAG, which is the Talented and Gifted program. And if you think about it, another lesson. He's starting to learn accountability, you know? So that's another thing in his armor that's making him the great pastor he is today. And then, you know, talking about playing football, we called our backyard the House of Pain, the Yard of Pain, because somebody always got hurt. Cut, briar bushes, poles, like there was all kind of obstacles in there that get you. But sometimes he didn't get to play as long as he wanted because he had to go practice piano. And she'd call for him because, you know, I grew up right across the street from him, and Chris lived right beside me. And he'd be like just torn apart because he wanted to play. We were kids, you know. But he'd march up in there and you hear the piano going, keys being stroked. And then sometimes in the morning before school, because we all walk to school, you know, I'm getting breakfast, getting ready, last, trying to get out of bed, late, to go to class, go to school, we're walking together. You hear that piano going. You know, I ain't always having to practice. But that's where that work ethic came from. You know, so, you know, those are the things that make Pastor Scott who he is. You know, growing up on Third, you know, his house. I always go down Third every now and then because it just brings back so many memories, but it has changed, you know what I mean? It has changed, but the one thing that's still kind of the same, Mr. Scott's house. You know what I mean? And that's who he is. He's still the same. The person he was when he was young, the person he was as, you know, in his 20s, 30s, he's still the same person who loves the Lord and his family. You know what I mean? So it just reminds me of Pastor Scott. Now, if you know from back in the day, Miss Althea and everybody can attest this, that house wasn't always the same. It is monstrous now compared to when it was.
He worked on it.
It has grown, which also reminds me of him. He has grown. his family has grown. His love for the Lord has grown. His responsibilities has grown.
Yep.
And he's handled them all well.
Amen.
And then my last thing I want to say about Pastor Scott is no matter what that house looks like on the outside, no matter how it's grown, no matter how it's gotten better, at its core value, it's still authentic.
Amen.
Still the same. You know, and that's who that man is. It's authentic. He is real. You know, what you get in the pulpit is what you get in the classroom. It's what you get on the street. A lot of people talk, but not many people walk, and that man does. So
Yes.
I just want to say, and I always thought this, I'm proud of you, but I'm not surprised. I mean, look at your name, you know, Christian. Christian.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And if you break that word down, it's made up of Christ. And that man right there is Christ-like. I just want you to know I love you, man. Love your family. All the way back, thank you for being a beautiful friend, a true friend. Means the world to me. Paint Creek, I think you already know, you got a great one.
I need a mic. I use my best preacher voice.
Yeah, you do. Use that mic.
Already. So, how you doing, brother? All right. All right, I'm staying close to you so I can see your reaction. So, I am not going to give up all the goods because the statute of limitations may not be up on a few things. We definitely thank God for the twins.
Yes.
Grace and mercy.
Yes, sir.
So, my name is Chad Neal. Getting back to talking about brotherhood, and this man and I have been close friends for over 45 years. And as a law enforcement officer for 30 years, I understand the importance and the need of collecting and gathering evidence to make a case. So today I'm gonna make a case or present an argument. But I'm gonna switch hats and put my attorney hat on today. And if I was an attorney in the gospel, I think that I can argue beyond a reasonable doubt that this in fact is my brother. So, you know my story. I didn't have a name growing up, I was Andy Boy. Oh, that's Andy Boy. Yeah, I was Chad, but I always known me Andy Boy. So, some of you may wonder and ask questions. Well, Chad, how can you say that this is your brother when Barbara's not your mom? Harry's definitely not your daddy. And you're not even sure how your bloodline adds up. So how can you say that this is your brother? Yeah. Well, I am so glad that you asked. Because I have many infallible proofs that this is my brother. All right. So, back in 1972, I know y'all quoting 85, but in 1972, there's a birth record on this street of two handsome little boys born on this street in around November, December, within 4 weeks apart, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So we grew up together. Now, you often heard we grew up on the same street. We looked alike. Sometimes that was a problem because I recall a time sitting on the back porch. We both had green shorts on. We didn't have a shirt on, and you go flying out the back door.
Yeah.
And there comes your daddy with a yardstick. And I had a crack. It took him 50 years to say he started. But I'll do that for you again. We spent a lot of time in each other's houses. I mean, I spent so much time at Miss Barbara's house, I'm pretty sure she claimed me as a tax exemption. We played with the same toys. We went to the same church. We both accepted Christ at a young age. We both were musicians and involved in the music ministry. We dressed alike. Look good too, didn't we? We had the same haircut.
And as you see now, we still have the same hairline. We played the same sports. We were the lead and the anchor of the 4x1 team. Should we try that again? Graduated high school together. We attended the same college. I know what moves him personally, what moves him professionally. He knows what moves me personally, professionally. We know what each other like and does not like. The good thing is that we hold each other accountable. We continuously hold each other accountable. We encourage and lift each other up, and we continuously have each other's back, no matter what. So those are just a few nuggets that I'll drop on you to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that I'm confident that I can go in any court or any jury or judge and convince them that this in fact is my brother. And we will remain brothers until we take our last breath. So I love you, man. I want to sell it to you real quick, but congratulations to you. God bless you. You got nervous and thought to give up. No.
Well, now we've heard the other parts of the story. Thank you all so much for coming back and sharing. It's been a long progress to get everybody together, and using Jarrell's help and trying to keep this a secret because Pastor Scott loves spoiler alerts. So I'm sure he was, as I kept seeing people today, I kept thinking, oh, he's got to put this together. But it was worth this, keeping the secret as long as we could. So we love you, Pastor Scott. And hopefully you'll get to have share some memories with your friends afterwards. We have not forgot about the rest of the Scott family. Miss Cassie, may I get your hand up? So we try not to leave out the whole family. As a former pastor's kid, and anybody in here who has ever been a pastor's kid, the life of a pastor is not easy. And it's not easy on the family. And there's late nights, early mornings, constant interruptions, phone calls, anything you can think of, he's getting the calls. And so I know that it's not easy to share your husband, to share your dad, and vice versa. The whole family is part of the church, so I know sometimes, even on Pastor Scott's end, it's not easy to share your wife or your children. You're on a public display 24/7. And so keeping your children innocent and safe as they're growing up can be difficult. So, and you have 3 children all in a row, right in college. Ooh. I just got Benji, he's a dog, so. But we don't want to forget the children, and what college student can't use snacks and some gas money? So we have gifts for all of you. You're very welcome. You're welcome. This card technically says Pastor Scott and Sister Stephanie, but that's only because this morning in all of my rushing, I realized I didn't actually get Pastor Scott a gift this year. I was so busy working on this secret, I totally forgot to get you a gift. So this is really for Sister Stephanie, but we added your name. So with all the things that I said earlier about the pastors, being a pastor's family is hard. And I've grown to love Sister Stephanie as my own sister. And the whole family, I love them like my own family. So I know that you don't take time for yourself. So here's a gift for you. If you choose to share, you can. But here, I hope you take this and use it for yourself. Or maybe a date night. Yeah. now that I've taken up all the time, if anybody else at this time has a gift for the Scott family, now's the time for, if you want to bring that up.
Yeah.
I do know that Mr. Josh Wellington has, Pastor Scott, this TV is not me. It's all Josh. So anybody who wants to come up, if you have a gift for the Scotts, you can do that now.